graders. So you guys know I love art. But what you might not know is I also love poetry. I love to write it and I love to read it. And in fact, I learned about poetry not when I was in 4th grade like you guys, but when I was in 3rd grade. And in 3rd grade, I made a big book of poetry that I wrote all for my teacher. And so it's something that I've done for fun for a long time. So your teachers were nice enough to let me help you learn about a type of poetry that actually has more to do with visual art than it does the words in the poem itself. Now maybe you know what type of poetry that is already. It is called concrete poetry. And we're going to talk about that today. So concrete poetry is sometimes also called shape poetry. And in Love That Dog, you and the character in the book got to read this lovely poem about an apple. And we can see it says apple, 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 yum, apple, yum. I won't read the whole thing, but you can see that it includes a lot of words about apples. Apples, juicy, crunchy, the colors of apples. It includes how they make them feel delicious, yum, delicious, yum, delicious, yum. And then, of course, there's one section where it says, wormy worm, yuck, yuck, yum, 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 yum. Wormy worm, yuck, yuck, yum, 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 yum. And so it has these different parts as well. And in the story, Love That Dog, we have this poem that was written, this concrete poem that features more about the dog itself, the body parts, the tail, the color, that it's yellow, leg, paw. Leg, paw. Slobber, 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 sniff, 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 sniff. And so they've written the words, some of them not even all together, like B-O-D-Y, spelling out body, and H-E-A-D, head, spelling out head, to create a visible, solid, concrete poem. There are some other examples that I've found for you that create a poem more like you're used to, where the message is a little clear. We're going to look at some of those today. Candy canes. I would like you to read along with me. Candy canes are oh so sweet. I love to unwrap a tasty treat. So many kinds, so fun to eat. Peppermint or cherry swirls, blueberry with tiny whorls. This is nice because it rhymes, but do poems always have to rhyme? No, they do not. And a lot of them won't. Nope. This one, Hot Air Balloon, was made just 4 years ago. Hot air balloon. From down below I wave hello to a man standing in a basket hanging from a balloon filled with hot air that keeps it scariously aloft. Now this one is cool because they once again cut the words sometimes where they need to, like precariously and scariously. But then other words forming the balloon itself are solid. Now this one is my very favorite. This one is by a poet named Jason Lynn, and I am going to read it to you just because I love it so much. What animal do you see when you look at this? It's a panda. So what do we know that the poem is going to be about? A panda. So listen closely. Jason Lynn wrote this for his high school class. To think in only 2 colors, black and white, to be oblivious to all others, only black or white, or shallow or deep, high or low, agree or fight, I only think in black and white. Have you finished your job? No? Then you must have not even tried at all. How was your day? Terrible? No? Then it must be very much have been quite the ball. I ask what color is the grass? If not green, then it must be red. I ask how your mother is? If not well, she must be dead. What is 8/2 equivalent to? If not 4, then it must be -4. Is it me that you love and adore? If not, then I must be the one you abhor. I think in 2 dimensions. I see both length and width. Depth is a mystery to me. To me, a myth. Like a paper, I have but 2 sides. Each time You see just one face, its blank stare is one you cannot erase. But what if I had finished the job halfway, and my day had just been okay? The grass looks like a dead yellow, and I hear your mother feels quite mellow. What if one had changed dividends, and rather than lover we were just friends? These are the truly unique colors of life. This is where identity and variety are rife, where with amethyst, bronze, cerulean, and deep pink, ecru, flamingo, indigo, and pitch like ink. Do not think there is just wrong and right, for we cannot think in only black and white. Do not fall for any extremist propaganda, for we are not as monochrome as an innocent small panda. Isn't that beautiful? Now, this poem is a little bit more intense than what I need from you, but we are going to create our own poems. You should have in your packets a worksheet that looks kind of like this. You're going to be filling it out, and I filled out mine already. I answered mine about a platypus, and I have it written down here. So I wrote down my answers where the question said, what is the animal you picked? I picked my favorite animal, the platypus. You do not have to pick your favorite animal. In fact, sometimes your favorite animal might be the wrong choice. You want to pick an animal that has a good silhouette. A silhouette means the outline of the animal. So I'm picking a platypus. Another good option might be a whale. You could do a cat very well. A lion could be fun. Think about animals that if you saw them from a distance, you would know what they are. A worm could be really easy and fun. A bird could be great. I wouldn't recommend something like a sloth, because it'd be hard to tell it apart from another animal. But if that's your favorite animal and you want to try it, go ahead. Do that, sloth. Show me wrong. So, going back to the worksheet, you'll want to put in the answers to your questions. If I read you the poem, the worksheet itself, what I have says, what is the animal of your choice? I said platypus. Where does it live? I said Australia. What does this animal look like? So I put in all of my answers right in the order, and just like the instructions said, I wrote them in complete sentences. And then your job is going to be to turn those answers into a poem. That's what I want you to do this week. Now, you don't have to be perfectly happy with the poem, because you'll probably change it a little bit. And remember, there's different types of concrete poems. We have the type that we looked at the end, which uses a more traditional poem as a format. And then we have the type that we looked at in the beginning, which just uses the words. Either way, you'll want the answers in the worksheet as you write your poem and decide what you're doing. So I've got my poem written out after I wrote my answers. I did this on paper. Some of you will want to do that as well, so let me show you that. I've got my answers that I wrote here on the paper, and then I wrote the poem off to the side. I turned my answers, they're over here. I turned my answers into parts of the poem, and I wrote it directly in the order of the worksheet. That way it keeps it simple so that you are not spending too long. You should only spend 15 to 20 minutes on writing your poem itself. Because remember, in a concrete poem, the most important part is not the words, but what it shows and how the image of the poem reflects the words itself. We're going to create the image itself next week, and you're going to type it, because typing a concrete poem is actually very different than writing it by hand. So make sure your poem is ready to go so that next week you can follow along with me and create a beautiful typed concrete poem. Good luck. Oh, and one more thing. Maybe you wanted to hear the poem I wrote? If you don't, if you want to wait until next week and be surprised, stop the video now and start writing your own poem. I, of course, don't want my poem to influence yours, but If you want to hear what Miss Hendricks pulled out, then here we go. I'll read it to you. The platypus lives in the rivers far away from me. It lives in Australia over many miles of sea. It has a duck's bill, a beaver's tail, and feet like a crocodile. But its fur is brown and all its own and always makes me smile. Their babies hatch from eggs like birds. They play and hunt for worms. But they also want to hide from me. People make them squirm. The platypus is special and lives within my heart. Their little eyes and big cute smiles are an Australian work of art. If you listened, you'll notice that I answered every single question in the worksheet in order as I wrote my poem. And that's what I'm looking for you to do. You do not have to make yours rhyme. I just really like to rhyme, so I did. All right, so once again, good luck with your poem. And next week, stay tuned to find out how to turn it into a concrete poem.